Hey folks, welcome back to Money and Politics. It is Wednesday, May the 19th. I can't believe the month of May is already halfway over. But thanks for joining me again. I did a video last night. It ran actually about a half an hour, and there was some technical thing that took forever to post, and then I finally gave up on that. Went back, tried to repost it, and it actually was like midnight Central Time by the time I got it up. So I still haven't posted it because I wanted to kind of look at it again. Then I got involved in a long conversation with one of our brethren in the humble nation, and we had a fascinating conversation. I don't want to say who it was, just for privacy's sake, but great conversation. And we stayed up into the wee hours of the morning talking about a lot of things, about humble, about investing in general, about politics, and I will tell you that for me, having an interesting conversation is one of the best forms of entertainment. And along that line, I am explaining to you here why I'm going to make this relatively short on the talk tonight. In the last 2 weeks, I cover Illinois state politics, and the legislature has to pass the state budget by the end of May. So they only got 2 weeks. This comes down to crunch time. It's like, like finals for a college kid, or like being April 1st for an accountant. So after I finish here, I'm going to bolt out the door and head downtown to have some conversation with some interesting people who are actually in town from out of state, from Alabama, and I'm just going to be doing this for political purposes, not political, but to be setting up future interviews on future topics on a variety of things. And also Candace Owen, the black conservative she's going to be in town talking tomorrow night, so I'm going to be going and covering that. So a long way of saying, after May, I go from 90 miles an hour down to about 20 miles an hour. Right now, I'm going 90 miles an hour, and it didn't help last night that I put it together like a half-hour-long show. I may repost that. I might even set that up to post possibly for tomorrow's show, since I'm going to see Candace Owens. Okay, so I apologize for the disruption in video, but that's what's behind it. Now, that all said, I'm not going to speak too much about the price action today on Humble. There wasn't much to talk about. It's been a down market. It's been overcast and dreary here, and the market by itself has been very dreary. It's one of those times where, folks, you just as well would be to be on vacation. What I am going to talk about is, the Gold Panda who wrote the article. And what I'm doing is doing a quick overview. He came out again with another posting, and I'm looking at, it was at 4:30 Eastern time today, 3:30 Central. And it says, the headline, Humble's first quarter results look underwhelming, and I remain bearish. So that's his deal. And he says, during the quarter, the company booked revenues of $0.16 million, with just $2,156 coming from Humble Financial. Humble's payments app has around 30,000 active users, which sounds disappointing considering this was supposed to be the next PayPal. I'm going to answer these, and I just didn't have a time to bring all this up. Assuming the Series B preferred shares are converted, Humble is valued at $5.93 billion as of this time of the writing. And that's again today. I'm going to see if maybe I can bring this up real quick. And he says, I continue to think the business isn't worth much in its current state, and that this is a one-time sell. So that all said, I can't bring it up. I'm not going to fight this. You go to bring up something, got ads. But here's one thing he did say, and let me just, near the conclusion. He writes, as I mentioned that the launch of the ETX products was in April, and Humble revealed on page 39 of the financial report that it managed to add 7,500 customers to Humble Financial between April 1 and May 16. However, this is inconsequential, according to him, for the bear case, as the new clients will add just $40.45 million in annualized revenues. Well, big deal. Okay, so where's he wrong? Well, he's wrong in a variety of ways. Number one, he's just ignoring that this is a startup and it's the first quarter and all the work that goes into setting up a system. You know, you just had Tickery added. You just had Aurora added. I know I always say that wrong. You just had Monster added for the NFTs. To say, oh, look at this, they're only doing this 0.4, it's ridiculous. This is like saying we hired a baseball player and we paid him $10 million, and the first time he came to bat, he struck out. I just don't see how this baseball player is worth $10 million if he's going to strike out all the time. Well, you can extrapolate one small thing and say on an annualized basis, but that doesn't, that's like saying I make $11 an hour. And if I extrapolate that for every hour I work in the course of this year, I'll make $50,000. Well, it's just a stupid analysis. Sorry, Gold Panda. It's a dumb analysis. To say, however, this is inconsequential because the new clients add $450,000, let's just do it that way, in annualized revenues. He also said earlier, which I read, but I didn't have it pulled out here, that they had just 2,500 people signed up. So I'm trying to find where I read that. The point is, folks, they're adding ETX customers all the time. That's not a static number. It's not a static number, the 7,500. So why use that as on an annualized basis? It might be 7,500 as of the time it was reported in the report, the financial report, and even that was after the end of the first quarter, right? I mean, it was between May 1st and April 1st and May 16th that they added 7,500 subscribers at $5 a month to the ETXs. What's it going to be by the time we get to July? What's it going to be by the time we get to October or December or a year from now? And along the way, they're going to make the app, as Brian Foote has said, they're going to make the app better. They know, he said in his address to us, that they know that they have to make the app easier to, in a variety of ways, less cumbersome, easier to trade, sign up for the ETXs, and do a host of things. And so, without me spending a whole lot of time here, the point is, I would just ignore this report. People want to get their name out there. They want to go on Seeking Alpha. Well and good for you, okay? Congratulations on having another article. Congratulations on having Gold Panda out there again, and here I am talking about it. But for those investors who think, oh my gosh, this must be something, should we be frightened again? Should we be running for the hills? Will this go down to 3 cents? What's happening? Just ignore it. Where we are, and let me just walk through this and you can think to yourself if what I'm saying is cheerleading, as some knucklehead said, or if I'm just reporting like a reporter. Where we are is we are in the middle of May. The merger happened just about 6 months ago, and I don't have the exact date right in front of me, but it's roughly 6 months ago. We got a lot of enthusiasm, which a lot of companies don't have, but we got a lot of enthusiasm. We got the stock ticker, we're so new, we got the stock tickery the other day. We just had our own earnings report come out. Now, was it on Friday, I think, or Thursday? I've lost track. But the point is, we just had the first quarter earnings report ever. And Brian Foote and his team were busy when you're setting up the company for the first quarter. This is not like the first quarter of 2022 or 2023. There's a whole lot of extra work that goes into that very first quarter where you're trying to do everything. What they did in the first quarter, Humble, was amazing. To do 3 deals, and I already said them. You did Tickery, you did the Oreo Group down in Chile, you did Monster. So you're going to be getting the NFTs. You're going to be getting Studio coming out. You're going to be signing up more people on the ETXs, and they got that approved to come into the United States. Completed their deal, did the reverse split. I know that was unpopular for a lot of people, but it's also something that they were working on and did, and got rid of a lot of shares. Along those lines, and there was so much angst and worrying and all about the reverse split. Look, I've told this story before, and I'm, again, covering this quick because I got to bolt out the door, that I made a lot of money in Cisco. And one of the reasons I made a lot of money in Cisco, beside the fact that I bought into a growing company in a new industry, the internet, and I bought it at the right time, was I made a lot of money because Cisco repeatedly split their shares. So, they had, like, in 5 years, as I recall, something like 5 splits. And these were, most of them, 2 for 1. So they were doubling the number of shares. And then they doubled the number of shares. And then they doubled the number of shares. And then they did something like a 3 for 5 split. I'm going from memory of what happened like 25 years ago. The fact that they added all those shares did not reduce Cisco's ability to grow as a company and for the enthusiasm of their share prices. So we are in a situation where, as humble investors, we are 4-year-olds in our bed worrying about the boogeyman under the bed. And the boogeyman just posted another post. And, when I was a little boy, we used to watch Dracula. And we used to watch Frankenstein. And they would show these movies from the 30s on Chiller Theater. And we would turn the lights out, and a group of us kids, I was one of 7, and we'd get together with some other family friends, and there'd be something like 12 kids stuffed in a room with the lights off and a black and white TV. I was about 4 or 5 years old. And for days after I watched the horror films, I would be sure that Frankenstein was going to come out of the closet. Honest to God. And folks, that's what's happening now. So if you like to be frightened, if you like horror films, then read Gold Panda. Get your thrills and chills. It's cheaper than going on a merry-go-round or going on a roller coaster. It's safer than driving at high speeds down the highway. It'll add a little excitement to your life, but treat it for what it is. Entertainment, okay? It's not serious analysis. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't want you to worry about it. If you want, you can gather the kids around and read it to them, and they'll probably stay awake at night wondering if the Gold Panda is hiding in the closet.